A brand for a company is like a reputation for a person. You earn reputation by trying to do hard things well. What we need to do is always lean into the future. When the world changes around you and when it changes against you, what used to be a tailwind is now a headwind. You have to lean into that and figure out what to do, because complaining isn't a strategy. We see our customers as invited guests to a party, and we are the hosts. It's our job every day to make every important aspect of the customer experience a little bit better. I believe you have to be willing to be misunderstood if you're going to innovate. What consumerism really is, at its worst, is getting people to buy things that don't actually improve their lives. If you do build a great experience, customers tell each other about that. Word of mouth is very powerful. What consumerism really is, at its worst, is getting people to buy things that don't actually improve their lives. I think frugality drives innovation, just like other constraints do. One of the only ways to get out of a tight box is to invent your way out. If you're competitor focused, you have to wait until there is a competitor doing something. Being customer focused allows you to be more pioneering. The best customer service is if the customer doesn't need to call you, doesn't need to talk to you. It just works. We've had 3 big ideas at Amazon that we've stuck with for 18 years, and they're the reason we're successful. Put the customer first. Invent, and be patient. The common question that gets asked in business is, why? That's a good question, but an equally valid question is, why not? There are 2 kinds of companies: those that work to try to charge more and those that work to charge less. We will be the second. Because, resilience. If you think of it in terms of the gold rush, then you'd be pretty depressed right now because the last nugget of gold would be gone. But the good thing is, with innovation, there isn't a last nugget. Every new thing creates 2 new questions and 2 new opportunities. I don't think that you can invent on behalf of customers unless you're willing to think long term, because a lot of invention doesn't work. If you're going to invent, it means you're going to experiment, and if you're going to experiment, you're going to fail. And if you're going to fail, you have to think long term. No matter what your mission is, have some notion in your head. Forget the model, whether it's government or nonprofit or profit. Ask yourself the more important question: is my mission improving the world? Are you sure about it? Seek to disconfirm that all the time. And if you can, change your mission. Amazon.com strives to be the e-commerce destination where consumers can find and discover anything they want to buy online. There are 2 ways to extend a business. Take inventory of what you're good at and extend out from your skills. or determine what your customers need and work backward, even if it requires learning new skills. Kindle is an example of working backward. The thing that motivates me is a very common form of motivation. And that is, with other folks counting on me, it's so easy to be motivated. The special ops guys and the firefighters around the world have this great phrase. They say, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast, and that is true. Everything I've accomplished in my life has been because of that attitude. When it comes to space, I see it as my job. I'm building infrastructure the hard way. I'm using my resources to put in place heavy lifting infrastructure so the next generation of people can have a dynamic, entrepreneurial explosion into space. The one thing that offends me the most is when I walk by a bank and see ads trying to convince people to take out second mortgages on their homes so they can go on vacation. That's approaching evil. I strongly believe that missionaries make better products. They care more. For a missionary, it's not just about the business. There has to be a business, and the business has to make sense, but that's not why you do it. You do it because you have something meaningful that motivates you. Market leadership can translate directly to higher revenue, higher profitability, greater capital velocity, and correspondingly stronger returns on invested capital. One thing that I find very unmotivating is the kind of Plan B argument. When Earth gets destroyed, you want to be somewhere else. That doesn't work for me. We have sent robotic probes now to every place in the solar system, and this is the best one. The killer app that got the world ready for appliances was the light bulb. So the light bulb is what wired the world. And they weren't thinking about appliances when they wired the world. They were really thinking about, they weren't putting electricity into the home. They were putting lighting into the home. We expect all our businesses to have a positive impact on our top and bottom lines. Profitability is very important to us, or we wouldn't be in this business. If your customer base is aging with you, then eventually you are going to become obsolete or irrelevant. You need to be constantly figuring out who are your new customers and what are you doing to stay forever young. 2 kids in their dorm room can't start anything important in space today. That's why I want to take the assets I have from Amazon and translate that into the heavy lifting infrastructure that will allow the next generation to have dynamic entrepreneurialism in space, to build the transportation network. We have the resources to build room for 1 trillion humans in this solar system. And when we have 1 trillion humans, we'll have 1,000 Einsteins and 1,000 Mozarts. It will be a way more interesting place to live. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and keep my